Well, hello Dragons, and welcome to this instructional video for Lesson 15 Part 2, the Rights, Duties, and Responsibilities of Citizens. The main idea behind this civics lesson is being a citizen involves rights, duties, and responsibilities. These responsibilities include contributing to the common good. With that in mind, by the end of watching this video, you'll be able to describe the rights of American citizens, analyze the duties of citizens, and define some of the responsibilities of citizenship. Now that the outcomes for this lesson have been shared with you, let's get started. Here's a riddle. How is holding the office of citizen like having a driver's license? Having a license gives you certain rights. Your rights include the right to drive on public roads and highways, and the right to park where the law allows. Of course, as a driver, you also have duties. Your duties, which are required by law, include observing traffic signals and signs, and obeying the speed limit and other rules of the road. In addition to your duties, you have responsibilities. They can be summed up this way. You are expected to drive in a way that will not endanger others, and that will protect the safety of other drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. Have you figured out the answer to the riddle? Holding the office of citizen is like being a licensed driver because in both situations you have important rights, duties, and responsibilities. Can you name some of the rights of American citizens? Here are some ways that might be most familiar to you. The right to vote and to hold elected office, the right to say what you think in speech or in writing, the right to practice your own religion, the right to have a fair trial, and the right to be protected by your government when you are working or traveling in other countries. These rights, and our other rights as citizens, are based on the fundamental beliefs and values we Americans share: equal respect, freedom, equality, and justice. Our rights are guaranteed to us by our Constitution and protected by our laws and our courts. Just as licensed drivers have certain duties that go with the right to drive, citizens have duties too. These duties include obeying the laws, defending the nation, serving on a jury or as a witness in court, paying taxes, and attending school. By performing each of these duties, we as citizens support our government's efforts to meet our needs as a society. Your family and your classroom have rules that keep them running smoothly in an orderly way. As you know, a society's formal or written rules are called laws. Some laws are to keep us from hurting each other. They range from laws requiring drivers and bicycle riders to stop at stop signs to laws against murder and armed robbery. Other laws establish the rules for making agreements and for settling disagreements in a fair and peaceful way. If Bernice hires Mr. Carey to paint her house, they might draw up and sign a written contract. A contract is a document that states how much Bernice will pay and how long it will take Mr. Carey to finish the job. Both Bernice and Mr. Carey have a legal duty to live up to the contract. If either of them thinks the other has broken the contract, the law gives them the opportunity to take the case to court. We also must obey laws that protect citizens' rights. For example, the right of equal opportunity is protected by laws. If an employer refused to hire someone because of their race or religion, the employer would be breaking the law. It would be impossible to know all the laws of your city, state, and nation. However, it is up to you to know the ones that affect your life and your actions. If you plan to go fishing, for instance, you must know the laws covering fishing licenses and the limit on the number of fish you may catch in a day. If you break those laws, the Fish and Game Warden may use the famous expression, "Ignorance of the law is no excuse," and may make you pay a fine. Helping our country defend itself against threats to our peace and security is another important duty of citizens. The United States maintains armed services even in peacetime. In this way, the nation can defend itself in case of attack and can help other countries protect themselves. When you are 18 years or older, you may volunteer to serve in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, or Coast Guard. In addition, young men must register for military service when they reach age 18. Registering does not mean that they will have to serve in the armed forces, but it does mean that they can be called to serve when there is a national emergency. A man whose moral beliefs prohibit him from fighting may ask to be considered a conscientious objector. If his request is approved, he will be assigned to some other kind of public service, such as working in a hospital. One of the basic rights of citizens is the right to a fair trial. In our legal system, no person may be found guilty of a crime unless that guilt can be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. We believe that the best way to determine a person's guilt or innocence is to conduct a trial in an open manner with citizens participating in the process. Experts, such as lawyers, police officers, and psychologists, may play an important part in the criminal trial, the process of trying to prove that an accused person did or did not commit a crime. However, experts do not make the final decision as to the innocence or guilt. A judge does not make the final decision either, unless the accused person gives such permission. Instead, our Constitution guarantees that anyone accused of a crime may have the case decided by a jury of peers, a group of ordinary citizens who hear the case and decide whether the accused person is innocent or guilty. During the trial, the lawyers may need the help of witnesses to prove their case. Witnesses are people who have seen events or heard conversations related to the crime, or who have special information that may help determine the guilt or innocence of the person on trial. Criminal trials are not the only ones that use witnesses and juries. People may also ask a court to decide cases in which they think their rights have been violated, or they have been treated unfairly. If Bernice and Mr. Carey cannot settle their dispute over the house painting job, for example, they have the right to ask for a jury to hear the case. They may also call witnesses to help them, such as a neighbor who can testify that Mr. Carey did not finish painting the house when he agreed to. As you can see, juries and witnesses play an important part in assuring that a trial is fair. Because Americans have a right to a fair trial, it is the responsibility of all adult citizens to serve as jurors and act as witnesses when they are called to do so. Are you a taxpayer? A few students your age earn enough money at part-time jobs or through savings accounts or investments that they must pay income tax to the government. Many more of you pay sales tax on items you buy, such as books, clothes, and CDs. As an adult, you will probably pay other taxes as well, such as property taxes on land and a house or building that you may own. Through taxes, our local, state, and national governments raise money to pay for the services that citizens ask them to provide. Did it ever occur to you that every time you go to school, you are performing one of your duties as a citizen? Although age requirements vary from state to state, children are usually required to attend school from age 5 or 6 to at least age 16. Our society depends on our schools to teach young citizens the knowledge and skills they need as they are growing up and when they become adults. One purpose of school attendance laws is to make sure that young people are prepared to support themselves and to contribute to our economy. Another important task of the schools is to give students the knowledge, skills, and experiences they need to carry out the duties and responsibilities of the office of citizen. If we as citizens are to continue to govern ourselves, uphold our values, and protect our rights, each of us must be educated about our history, our government, and the workings of our society. It is to the schools that our society has entrusted this important task. As citizens of this democracy, we not only have duties but responsibilities as well. Unlike duties, responsibilities are fulfilled by choice. They are voluntary. However, even though we are not required by law to fulfill our responsibilities, doing so is just as important a part of being a citizen as performing our duties. The basic responsibility of every citizen is to contribute to the common good, or the well-being of all members of society. Contributing to the common good means acting in ways that protect the rights and freedoms of other Americans and that make our communities, our states, and our nation good places for all of us to live. All the other responsibilities of citizenship are part of contributing to the common good. They include the many ways we participate in our political process. For example, as citizens, we vote for people who will represent us in government, and some of us agree to hold elected or appointed office ourselves. We also work alone or with others to influence government policies and decisions. The right to vote is one of the most basic rights of American citizens. It is also one of our most important responsibilities. We vote for representatives at all levels of government, from President of the United States to members of the local school board. In addition, in our states and our local communities, citizens are often asked to vote on issues. We may be asked to make decisions about public issues such as building schools, changing taxes, or protecting wilderness areas. To make good decisions and vote wisely, citizens have the responsibility to inform themselves. You can get information by reading, asking questions, and discussing the candidates and issues with other people. It is always important when preparing to vote to try to separate facts from opinions and to try to base your decisions on reasons and not on personal likes and dislikes. The people who agree to hold government office are fulfilling another important responsibility of citizenship. They have accepted the responsibility of learning about the issues and trying to make decisions that are in the best interests of the people they represent. Citizens who hold office include our elected city council members, mayors, governors, and state and national representatives and senators. They also include appointed officials such as members of the local water boards and planning commissions, as well as advisors to the president. Although there are age requirements for voting and for holding political office, most of the voluntary responsibilities of the office of citizen do not depend on age. One of the important ways to fulfill the responsibilities of a citizen is to help a candidate, or a person running for office, with his or her election campaign. You may be aware that getting elected to government office is not always easy. Often the candidates must face stiff competition. There are a number of ways that, as a teenager, you might help a candidate. They include carrying a campaign sign at a rally, stuffing envelopes with information to send to voters, and making phone calls to encourage people to vote for your candidate. Another way you can fulfill the office of citizen is to work to get the government to take action in a cause you believe in. Citizens of any age can influence the government by expressing their opinions in letters to elected representatives and to newspapers, and by speaking at city council and school board meetings. You can also join or create an organization with the goal of influencing government actions. Not all of the responsibilities of citizenship are directly connected with government. Each of us is responsible for doing whatever we can to make our communities better places to live in. When you listen with respect to the opinions of a person who disagrees with you, and when you make a new student feel welcome in your school, or pick up a candy wrapper someone else dropped in the hallway, you are acting as a responsible citizen. You are fulfilling the office of citizen by contributing to the common good. So that's the way it is with Lesson 15, Part 2, the rights, duties, and responsibilities of citizens. At this point, you should know that the rights and duties of citizens are connected. Citizenship is important to everyone, regardless of age, and responsibilities of citizenship are voluntary choices that Americans make in order to promote the common good. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to have the entire catalog of civics videos available at your fingertips. Click the subscribe button and then click the follow bell to receive notifications as to when the channel is updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in class, Dragons!